Hello, everyone. So, for this week's discussion, I decided to talk about the topic of students in foster care. I decided to do this topic just because it's something that I've always thought about doing in the future. Once I have a more stable home and income, I would love to open the doors to someone that needs a place to live. So, for this week, I read the article about foster care module in this week's module. And foster care is a temporary state supervised system that provides a safe home for children who are removed from their permanent homes due to abuse, neglect, long term parental illnesses, incarcerated parents, or even when parents voluntarily relinquish his or her parental rights. That's just it's kind of where the parent might not feel safe or confident or ready to take care of their children because they might be dealing with something personal. So they just, instead of abandoning the kids, they'll take them to like a child welfare agency where they could help them out and find a temporary home and maybe in the future a permanent home. More than 500 children are placed in foster care, and about 62% of children are school ages 5 to 18. Although there was like a study done that I'm going to talk about at the end of this, children in foster care tend to have a child welfare system that includes biological family, licensed foster home, child welfare agency, school support, guardian, or I don't know if it's pronounced CASA or CACA volunteer, court system, and other agencies. Every single support system is essential for the foster children to succeed and find a safe place to live, permanently or temporary. Younger foster children in early education will have a harder time to succeed in school, leading to experience developmental delays. And in a 2005 U.S. Department of Health Human Services study of more than 6,200 children in contact with welfare agencies, found that 53% of children are ages 3 to 24 months. A concept and idea that was new to me after reading this article is that local welfare agencies are not a required community partner for SS/HS guarantees due to the different requirements for the two systems regarding confidentiality and information sharing and a lack of mutual trust. And I think that was just new to me because I feel like when it has to do with what a child is going through at home, it should be very mutual and trust where the the the, the children and the social worker feels comfortable talking to them and not feel like they're gonna misplace their trust. And then although these two systems are not required to work together, they are essential for meeting the educational, physical, and mental health well-being of youth in foster care. A strategy that stood out to me the most to enhance collaboration between schools, the children welfare system, and or SSHS partners is to form good relationships with senior supervisory child welfare agency staff because of the turnover rates of welfare workers. That just being that I think that many cases are coming in, there's just like a lot of time for waiting to get everyone in the process and then finding homes for them. Students in foster care often encounter unique obstacles in education, not because of their abilities, but because of the instability and lack of support in their environment. Some drawbacks that students could experience from being in foster care are homelessness. From previous knowledge I know or I've heard that after 18, they no longer help them get placed in temporary homes. So they kind of have to go on themselves and figure out what they're gonna do, but they might still receive some type of support. Students score 16 to 20% point below their peers in state centralized testing, and less than 60% of students in foster care finish high school, and only 3% of students even attend college, any post-secondary education. Due to the lack of like missing records or gaps in school attendance, 42% of students don't immediately start school after entering foster care. I think that just sends them all the way back from what's being taught in class, so they might just lack the knowledge that is being currently taught. Difficult to build relationships with school staff or even make friends. I think foster care students might lack confidence and self esteem. So it might be really hard for them to even interact with other students, just maybe because of the type of conversations that they might have, or might not even have a topic that they could both relate to. And then the lack of education can cause students to drop out of school and increase risk of juvenile delinquency and trauma and mental health issues. I think this is a big one where because of the neglect, the abuse that they were experiencing in their biological family homes, that might just really cause a lot of trauma where anything might trigger them. And then social emotional development problems as well, and then also the regulation where they might not be able to problem solve things at school or even in life as time goes on, and then that would just create behavioral issues, and then overall just to require special education that they might require and need.